All right, I think we have all our committee members as well. Councilmember Coombs, Councilmember Murillo are here. So I'll go ahead and start and open call to order the meeting of the Parks and Foundations and Quality of Life Committee. Approval of minutes. Councilmember Coombs, do you have any questions?
Nope, none from me.
Councilmember Murillo?
No questions. I believe I might have missed this one, so
Okay.
I'll abstain.
Okay. So minutes will be approved. Any announcements?
Yes, Councilmember Medina, this is Brian Green. I have one.
Okay.
So I'd like to introduce to the committee our new manager of marketing and communications, Ted Bryant. We hired Ted. Ted came on with us about 5 weeks ago, but we didn't have a meeting to introduce him. So I'd like to give him an opportunity to introduce himself. So this is Ted Bryant.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Ted Bryant, the new manager of marketing communications here in Pros. Very excited to be here, coming to you all from the world of pro sports, where I've been for the last decade and a half, previously working in the NFL, Major League Soccer, and with the United States men's national soccer team. So as Brian mentioned, this is nearing the end of week 5 for me, so it's been a lot of learning and introductions, and I'm happy to work closely with all of you and get to know you and see how I can continue to support the work being done by this group.
That's all I had, Councilmember Medina. Thank you.
All right. Just a thing of clarification. We were approving the May minutes or June?
That would be May. We did not have a June meeting.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. All right. And just to reflect on that, the Councilmember Murillo was at that meeting in May as well, so she approves. Just for the record, to make sure that's on there. And other than that, agenda items, we got 4A, concessionaire agreement for the Korean War Memorial at Generals Park. Let's see who's presenting. Is it
Nicole?
Nicole? Okay.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Lauren's going to help us out with the presentation. I'm really excited to present this item to you today. I know that you all are very familiar with it. We have been working with the UN Heritage for the Korean War for, goodness, going on almost 10 years. So we're at a really wonderful spot and moving forward with the project. We do have some representatives here for them as well, if any of the council members have any questions. Next slide, Lauren. And I should state for the record, my name is Nicole Ankeny. I'm the manager of planning, design, and construction. So the Korean War Memorial is slated to be a development to occur at Generals Park, which is in Ward 1. So the address for that is 1561 North Clinton Street. It was a community-led project and has been underway for some time. The group is able to apply for an Adams County open space grant this year. Typically, nonprofits are ineligible to apply. However, Adams County does have a process in which an eligible entity can sign a letter of sponsorship that doesn't require any kind of financial guarantee, but what that does is really authorizes them on our behalf to be an eligible applicant. So thus far, they have been successful with that effort, and they're waiting on some of the final documentations to come from Adams County Open Space. So the agreement before you today is a standard concessionaire agreement that is very common. We have these for the Colorado Freedom Memorial. We also have one for the 720 Memorial. And we do have a brief video that they put together for us. Have you guys seen the video, or would you like to watch that video to get a snapshot of the project?
I have not seen it.
Okay.
Any other committee members?
I'm
All right,
happy to
did you-
watch it. I believe I've seen it before, but yeah, let's go ahead and
Okay.
watch it.
Awesome. Lauren, could you please click on the video and see if it will play for us? Thank you. And it does have audio, so I'm not sure if the audio is not coming through on my end.
No, no audio.
I think there's a,
Sometimes Teams is a little weird with audio from
yeah, I think when you
videos.
launch it, there's a box that says clicks, just, you click a box to say you want audio.
Yes, sorry, I can hear it in my headset, but let's try share sound. Maybe.
Center. Following the recovery of
There we go.
President Dwight D. the proposed Korean War Memorial. My name is Becky Hogan, and it is my honor to be your guide through the Korean War Memorial in Generals Park. This site is located on the northwest corner of Quinton Street and Colfax Avenue at 1561 North Quinton Street. In 1955, Generals Park was originally the cornerstone of Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center. Following the recovery of President Dwight D. Eisenhower at the medical center, it was deemed as Generals Park. Today, this park remains as a reminder of the transition from Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center to CU Anschutz campus. The Korean War Memorial in Generals Park is a community-led initiative honoring veterans from all 22 countries who served with the United States and the United Nations forces. This memorial pays tribute to those who have served in the Korean War, also known as the Forgotten War. Serving Aurora's diverse community, the memorial offers a serene, accessible space for reflection and remembrance. Featuring 16 storyboards, national monuments, a seating area, and 4 Korean gardens, allowing visitors to explore the war's history and impact. The adjacent lake and greenery enhances the contemplative atmosphere. Water conservation is a priority. The memorial will feature drought-resistant native plants, minimizing water use while enhancing the park's natural beauty. Additional solar-powered lighting will provide energy-efficient illumination, ensuring safety and accessibility during the evening hours. The memorial will seamlessly integrate into Generals Park, preserving its open green spaces and enhancing its role as a place for community gatherings, relaxation, and recreation. Thoughtful placement of the pathways and seating areas will ensure that the park remains a welcoming environment for all visitors. Accessibility is a core principle of this project. The memorial is designed with universal access in mind, featuring smooth pathways, ADA-compliant seating, and gathering spaces that accommodate visitors of all abilities. Our goal is to create a space where veterans, families, students, and the entire community can come together in remembrance and reflection. Sustainability is at the heart of this project. By repurposing existing boulders found on site, we minimize waste and maintain a natural beauty. The memorial's design will incorporate Colorado's native plants and trees, locally sourced and recycled materials to reduce environmental impact. This project is supported by an extensive network of stakeholders, including local veterans and military organizations, the City of Aurora, Aurora Public Schools, the Aurora Chamber and the Aurora Defense Council, neighbors of the Northwest Aurora Neighborhood Association, leaders from Korea and the Korean community, the Denver Botanic Gardens, and representatives from the countries that participated in the Korean War. Due to the extensive planning and years of community input and investment, this project is shovel-ready. We can commence construction in the third quarter of 2025 with a planned completion by third quarter of 2026. This project is more than just a memorial. It is a space for education, healing, and connection. It will honor the sacrifices of those who served, create opportunities for cultural understanding, and provide a lasting legacy for future generations. By supporting this project, we invest our community's history, its well-being, and its shared future. Thank you for your time, and we ask your support of the Korean War Memorial at Generals Park.
Thank you, Lauren. If you could go on to the next slide, please. So this is the final rendering, as you just saw in the video. And I guess at this time, I would ask if you will have any questions for us or for Becky Hogan, Jim McGibney. I believe Peter Lee is also on the call. I think I got all three of you. Is that correct, Becky? Do you have any other representatives on the call that I am not seeing?
I think you got all three of us.
Okay. Excellent. And then
All right,
next
thank
slide,
you.
please, Lauren.
All right, I guess, Councilmember Coombs, do you have any questions?
I do not. I support.
Councilmember Murillo?
Thank you, Councilmember Medina. No questions. Just wanted to commend the group for pushing forward. They had reached out asking for a letter of support, and I was really happy to support the project. Obviously, this is in Ward 1. And yeah, so just excited for the project. And I have no questions, and I approve this moving forward.
All right, I approve. I have no questions either. So thank you for the presentation, and thank you, Becky, and your group for pushing this through. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next we have is resolution for an IGA allowing Moorhead Rec Center as a vote center facility. Winter?
Good morning. My name is Winter Steger. I am the recreation manager. And yep, this is simply asking to allow an IGA to continue Moorhead. Moorhead has been the voting center for Adams County from the time we've remodeled, but this is in the past, we've just had different paperwork. They used to sign our standard agreement, but as processes change, this year they've come with a different asking of an official IGA. So that's what is being asked here to pass forward so we can continue Moorhead as a voting location.
All right, well, thank you. Councilmember Coombs, any questions, concerns?
No, obviously it's important to have vote access throughout the city, and make sure that all of our communities can get to a place easily to vote. So I support continuing to have Moorhead serve in that capacity.
Thank you. Councilmember Murillo?
Echoing what my colleague just mentioned, and support moving forward.
Myself as well, support this, and just the fact that it's there in Moorhead and in the community, it's a good thing. So, yeah, I think we approve unanimously to move it forward. Thank you, Winter.
Thank you.
Next is Aurora Emerald Ash Borer Management. Is that going to be Adrian?
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you, Council. My name is Adrian Camacho. I'm the manager of Open Space and Forestry for Pros. And I have an item of that I want to talk about with you. And what we're asking for is that this item be allowed to be on the agenda for the next study session. All right, so we have, next slide, please. The Forestry Department and Colorado State Forest Service have confirmed EAB specimen from Aurora. I know there's a star in this image where the specimen was taken, but really think about it as an area because we've had multiple sightings since then. Quincy Reservoir and points further north than this. EAB is in our community now. Denver also confirmed a sighting near downtown a couple of days earlier. So this invasive insect has been moving through our region and continues to keep going. So next slide, please. So this is what it means for Aurora. We are expecting that this insect will eventually kill almost all ash trees that in the city. From other areas of the country that have been infected, the mortality rate is like 99%. So it eats large trees, small trees. It doesn't really have any preference for the different ash species. It eats them all the same. And just for your awareness, the Colorado Department of Agriculture removed quarantine requirements in 2019. So we are not under any quarantine regulations as far as making sure the material is sequestered or burned or anything like that. It's in our community. It is now part of the mix of flora and fauna. And also, just so the council's aware, the forestry department has been working on this issue for a long time, since 2015. And the way we've been working on this issue is that we've been focusing on replacing ash trees in our public canopy since then. So in 2015, we started with 7,000 ash trees, and now we're down to 4,500 more or less. And also for council's awareness, we will be treating a few ash trees in our system. Unfortunately, our oldest tree in our system is a green ash, and it is in Park Lane Park. So that one is being treated, and a number of other specimens will also, but a very small amount. So 4,500 to less than 50. Next slide, please. So as you're driving around your neighborhoods and as you're talking to your constituents, I wanted to give you these pictures so that you know what it looks like as it is killing the tree. In the picture with the canopy, you see very small leaves, the yellowing leaves, and a very thin canopy. That is a sign of sort of early, kind of a fairly advanced infection. When it first infects a tree, there are hardly any signs of infection. That's what makes this pest hard to control. By the time you see this, the pest is in most of the tree by now. So the thinning canopy, you'll see suckers coming out of the trunk of the tree, where the tree is trying to fight back and trying to regain some food. And then you'll see also this where the entire top of the tree has died, but the roots are still alive. So now they're sending up leaves to feed themselves. Next slide. So I just wanted to let you know what to expect. Like I mentioned before, there are a few symptoms at first. And as the tree goes into more and more decline, the tree becomes more brittle and starts breaking. So one thing to talk to your residents about is that it is much cheaper and easier to replace early than it is to wait. And because the removal is going to be a lot more expensive if you wait. So I just want to emphasize that point. Like, please, 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 as you're talking to residents, tell them if you can replace it, please replace it. But just know it's not going to get any cheaper to deal with. So we expect that it takes about 1 to 4 years for most trees to die from initial infection. And peak mortality we expect to see in about 6 to 8 years from now that it's been confirmed. Next slide, please. So just to put this in perspective, these are how many ash trees I currently have in inventory, the 4,700, right? This is the 110 is the estimate of all ash trees in Aurora. We contracted with Davie Resource Group to do a study to see how big this problem is, and that's the estimate that they came up with. And to put this in context with Denver, Denver has 2,700 ash trees in its public inventory, and
27,000. Okay.
300,000 in the 27,000. Sorry, yes, Brian, 27,000 in its inventory and 300,000 in the area. The metro wide Boulder, Denver, Longmont, Aurora is about 1.4 million ash trees. So, you know, in the grand scheme of things, Aurora's lucky. We have not allowed developers to plant ash trees since 2015, and that has helped a lot. We have not planted any ash trees in our program since we heard about this disease, and we are making our way. We've been consistently making progress on this, on replacing ash trees. All right, next slide. So just to explain how forestry is doing with us, our first action is to educate. So that's why I'm here with you, to let you know where we are and what our, you know, that it's here and you should be talking to your residents about this. And we already have a dedicated web page to this, which occurs in the resources page on this presentation. Ted is helping me put out some social media around this, so that to give out, you know, fun and very informative content to let people know. So that's our first blast, is to start the education campaign. What we are telling residents is that the most effective strategy for dealing with any invasive insect pest is biodiversity, is to not rely on a single species in your urban forestry canopy and to replace the affected species. So that's what we were doing, because it is the most effective thing. And it just so happens that we have funding for this. So that's what we're doing. We're going hard on replacing ash trees, and we're encouraging residents to think about replacement. So if removal and replacement isn't in the cards for whatever reason, we encourage residents to treat their trees. Like I mentioned, we are treating a very small population of our trees, but know that that treatment has to continue for the entire tree's life. So a small tree will live 50 years. So that entire 50 years, you have to continue treatment. So that's why replacement is the most effective strategy. Next slide, please. These are resources that we're drawing from and we're handing out to the public, and they occur on our website as well, our forestry EAB website. So you're free to pass any of this out, and you know, it's all good stuff. The state has done an outstanding job of providing pamphlets and information around this issue. Next slide. Nope. Okay, well, go back. Lauren, can you go back to the resources one? Are there any questions from council?
Thank you for presentation, Councilmember Coombs.
Yeah, so in the process already of replacement, I had heard from some constituents about this, particularly around the fact that the ash trees in some cases are kind of the main large shade tree that people have around their homes. And so I'm wondering what kind of approach to educating folks that like what the impacts are if you keep the trees and they're infested in terms of fire safety and other hazards. Like how can we really kind of drive the point home that like even if this is your main shade tree, there are really good reasons to replace and or like it's very important that you treat and this is the cost of treatment and the duration of treatment.
Yeah, we are working on right now kind of a survey of treatment costs from private licensed arborist companies. And we have a pretty good handle on the retail cost for removal. So say you have a large shade tree, maybe 24 inches in diameter. The treatment on that tree is going to cost about $300 every 2 years, somewhere around there. Whereas the removal cost for that tree now would be about $2,000 to $3,000 probably. Okay, but if you wait, that cost might go up to $10,000 or more, because what happens is as the tree dies with EAB, it gets more brittle, and as it gets more brittle, it requires like a crane or a lift or some other piece of equipment to really work on it. So that's why that's what we're telling everybody. This same thing I just told you, that you really do have to make a decision. If you want that tree, you need to treat it. And treatment is not a guarantee. The guarantee is to replace it. Does that answer the question?
All right. Yeah, I'm just thinking about like so does this resources page kind of have that information about the impacts of the disease on kind of safety and other hazards? Or is there somewhere specifically that we can kind of find those resources?
Me and Ted can work on that and come up with some compelling content around that topic. I don't know if these particular resources cover that, but it's well known, in the literature out there.
It's good feedback, Councilmember Coombs. We can add language around what the impact of putting it off and those kinds of things might be. I think is to your point, we've done a really good job of providing content about what it is, how it progresses, and what your best options are, either treatment or replacement. But maybe we could probably add more around what the impact of that may be what your choices, the impact of your choices might make. Because there are a lot more ash trees that are privately owned than what currently is under the care of Adrian's group. So that's good. The main point, I think, is even if you have an established tree that you're not ready to remove right now, it may be best to start planning for that removal, knowing that within 6 years or 8 years, it's likely that it will need to be removed. So if we can get that message to people and they can begin their process of planning, how am I going to deal with these 2 trees on my property or whatever, and in the interim, possibly underplant with something to replace it, get 2 years of establishment going on something else that's going to ultimately provide that shade and resource on their property while they're planning for removal. That's the best case scenario. And I think a lot of these situations are so unique to the individual and to the individual property that we do a lot of outreach one-on-one with people. Kelly's on the call as well, our city arborist, and we have many conversations with people and try to help them understand that too on a one-on-one basis. It's really kind of hard to put all that information about how it's going to affect them in one space, but we will work on that.
Yeah, Director Green brought up a great point there. There's nothing stopping people from planting a tree in advance of when they think, planning for their tree to be replaced at some point. You can go down both paths. You can underplant and you can treat your tree. And then, but when the time comes that your tree, has to be removed, well, then now you have a fully established new tree to take its place. And we in the city follow a similar strategy. If we see an ash tree, we'll often plant a new tree fairly, in close spacing with the expectation that we're going to be removing that eventually.
Great. Thank you so much for just all of that helpful information.
All right,
Thank you.
Councilmember Murillo.
Yeah, lots of questions on my end too. Let's see, where do I start? Well, first of all, thank you for the information. Interesting enough, these are the types of questions that I guess I feel like a lot come my way. It's like code enforcement, tree removal. Is it a city tree? It's impacting my power lines because we don't have we have above ground power lines in Ward 1. So I'll just state that. I had a couple of thoughts. So my first question is just, how do you know if you have an ash tree? I tried to look on the city's website for like the tree map and to at least first figure out if it's city owned or privately owned, but that map is not working. So I guess I will just flag that for you all and I can drop in the URL link. Trying to do my own research, but that doesn't necessarily indicate if it's an ash tree. It just indicates whether or not it's privately owned or city owned. I'm sure we'll get that question a lot.
Okay. Yeah, actually, Ted covered that in a social media post he put together on how do I know if I have an ash tree. So there's a short slide deck that we can put on our information page that lets people know the two quick, easy ways to identify if they have an ash tree.
Okay, that's wonderful. Could you send that out to council members as well? I feel like that's just something really easy. If we get a question, here's this link, is it private or public? Here's this link, is it an impacted tree? And then kind of like help yourself from there.
Okay.
And then I guess the other thought I had was, are we connecting with, I just think about like people who are purchasing new homes and like the real estate industry. Like, are we working with realtors at all to like share this information? I don't know if they have to disclose, if they have knowledge of it being an ash tree. I just, I would imagine that's kind of an important thing for a new homeowner to want to know, but also I also imagine realtors might be hesitant just because it might impact the sale. Like, is there like a middle ground that we can help kind of like educate our realtors and like kind of, also help them be transparent? Not that they're not going to be, but if they don't know, then they can't tell their clients either, kind of a thing. Obviously, for current homeowners, I mean, that's just whatever's on their property, right? But if you're moving into Aurora, like, not a great welcome to the city to buy a home and then, psych, just kidding, it's infested, I have to, chop it down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, have we thought about those types of things at all?
Oh, thank you, Councilman Murillo. I actually had not given that a lot of thought, and you're right. I think we do need to do that. Interestingly, the other side of what I do is the open space management, and the open space outreach committee, which is a subsection of the board, has been doing exactly that, going out to realtors and realtor organizations to let them know about open space. So this is a nice dovetail on that work to really engage realtors and the real estate community, let them know to inform their clients if they so wish.
That's really great to hear. Is there a legal obligation for realtors to disclose, like if they have knowledge of it being an oak tree, and they're selling it? I don't know how any of that works, to be honest, but yeah.
There would have to
don't
be
know.
some sort of, I think there would have to be some sort of regulation passed that would require them to do that, because currently, there's nothing I
There's
know
no-
of that obligates them to identify what kinds of trees are on there. Maybe a piece of the due diligence a buyer needs to be aware of to do is, like have an arborist look at the trees that you're potentially purchasing with this home, and are there any defects or flaws or things that they would want identified at that point.
Would an arborist, like, I guess even, yeah, I hear that, like the due diligence, but it's not like an arborist they would say it's an oak tree, but not necessarily like, oh, it's at risk for whatever
Emerald
this
ash.
buck
Oh,
was talking
Emerald
about.
ash borer.
Emerald
That
ash
one.
borer, yeah.
Yeah, and the arborist community is very keyed in on informing people about this. And in fact, in my neighborhood, I've dealt with this personally, where I have tree companies coming to my door to say, hey, you've got an ash tree, you probably want to get rid of that. And that happened to my neighbor, and they're basically soliciting business, because this will be a large this will be a large work effort for every tree service in our community for the next 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, I just want to add on to that. The arborist community is very well educated about this. Anyone that is a certified arborist in this region knows about emerald ash borer. And they have a lot of incentive to talk about it, because treatment is actually one of the most profitable line items that they sell. So they way more than tree removal. So the arborists I know, and in the private sector, they are happy to talk to residents about emerald ash borer, as well as other tree diseases.
Okay, that's great.
This is why I feel like it's very important for us to direct people to our auroragov.org website on forestry, and I put that link in the chat, because there's some misinformation out there too, and we don't want to yell fire in a crowded theater kind of thing. We want to make sure people have accurate information, good information, and we're able to be that resource for people of truth and measured response. And that's what we're providing, is that here's what that measured response can be, should be, needs to be. And Laura, you have your hand up, so you must have.
No, thank you, Brian. I was just going to add, Councilmember Murillo, what we can do also, we have our, developer stakeholder groups, our home builders that we're in contact with. So as part of a larger, broader communications plan and outreach that pros will be doing on this matter, we can definitely build that in and make sure that our home builders and our developers have these resources at hand to get to the disclosure matter and discuss options with them to ensure that folks are informed about this issue, particularly when, purchasing a new home.
Gotcha. Okay, that's great. Like, I don't think there's a need to add another regulation or, requirement if it sounds like we're kind of approaching it from every other angle. Okay, yeah, and I was just gonna emphasize the link that you put in actually was super helpful. and a lot of great information. I'm assuming y'all are planning on going to town halls if you haven't already to do this. So yeah, would welcome that presentation. I think my next one will be in August. So I'm happy to have y'all come out and share. I would imagine a lot of folks would be concerned about this. So
yeah, we would love to do that. The more information we can get out there, the better. That's accurate and factual information. We want to make sure we're protecting our citizens on both sides. You know, we want them to have good information and not be scared about what they may be hearing from their neighbor or someone knocking on their door. We do have updates to make to that website that I included in the chat. We wanted to make sure we got in front of our council committee first before we put the information out there to the public that, hey, we do have Emerald Ash Borer in our city, and we want to just make sure that this committee was aware and that we get on the agenda for study sessions so we can make all of council aware and offer these services that you described, like going into town hall meetings and going to possibly, I know there are realtor groups that have meetings, and that's good feedback. Maybe we should reach out to that group and try to get on their agenda some point too. So Kelly might be really busy coming up.
all right, I think that's it for me. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you as well. Yeah, so the other thing is, I have ash trees, I know for a fact. So I have two. I'm assuming one is city and one is not, because I don't know how far the setback is from the sidewalk, because I have one right.
5 feet. 5 feet from the edge of the sidewalk into your yard.
Yeah, that's what I figured, because I think that it's probably a little farther. The one that's to the center of my lawn. I mean, I'll go out and measure it, but I definitely have one that's literally about a foot from the sidewalk. So I know that one is. But yeah, now it's gonna make me go look at them and see.
Oh, we'd be happy to. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and I'm sure there's, that obviously the neighborhood here has them as well. So they've been around. At least I've been here almost 33 years. So it's a pretty big tree, like to the points that people, other committee members have made. It's definitely a lot of shade, and I'll lose a lot of that obviously because of those two trees in the front. So. All right, well, good information. Appreciate that. And with other committee members, we good to push this to study session?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, and let's see what else we've got. All right, I think we're down to the end here. Any miscellaneous matters for consideration? Being none, any topics for next month's meeting?
And we'll have to get back to you on that. I think we're still scrambling from some of the things that have been, pushed back, and these kinds of things like Emerald Ash Borer being pushed forward on discovery. So we will get back to you with topics for next meeting, unless the committee has any that they are that are burning in their mind.
Right, and we're scheduled to meet again on
The August 21st. 28th.
Yes,
Yeah,
28th.
28th.
I do have one, sorry, Councilmember Medina, for next month, since we're heading into budget season, maybe just an update on any budget cuts or other budget issues that we can be expecting to see at the budget workshop.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea there. So we'll look at that. Any other topics or any other information?
No topics for me. Was just gonna point out that the 28th is that the same day as the water tour? Do I have my dates wrong on that?
That's what I was trying to look
at. Oh, you're right.
So
you are correct. Yes.
And two of us are on that. So we may look at moving it up.
Laura, what is our best option, to move it a week earlier? Or
yes, I'll ask the committee what your preference is. We could move it to August 21st, or
A training,
I
like a
will
conflict.
be a week out from surgery at that point. So if we could do it the day before, maybe on the
Day
Wednesday,
before,
because the tour,
probably.
does the start on Wednesday or does it start on Thursday, the water tour?
Got it
'Cause I
on,
know
It
it's a
looks like
2-day.
I got it on both days, but I think they said it was one
Oh.
day. I don't know if they're taking two separate. It doesn't
I
make
will
No,
sense.
that
confirm with
one's
Marshall
2 days.
Brown.
Okay. I
And
think
then
the
perhaps
water
we can-
tour is Wednesday, Thursday. I'm pretty sure. And then Ruben, there's another 1-day thing in October.
Okay.
Laura, did you say you were going to confirm with Marshall and we can look at the 27th? Likely.
Yes.
I
I'll
mean,
com-
I could always do the 22nd or the 29th. Just throwing that out there in case we need some more flexibility, but we can also follow up offline.
I'll get some information
Yeah,
on the
those
water
will
tour,
work
the specific
as
schedule,
well as
and
the
then
Tuesday.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, thank you much. Appreciate it. All the information. Thanks for what all you do and keep up the great work. We appreciate it. And with that,
Thanks,
I'll
everyone.
adjourn.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.